No, I got to lean in.
What's up, everyone? Happy Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us for our second live viewing of The Real Housewives of New York City, the reboot. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. Please welcome Miss Shantae and Tez. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing good. It's Tuesday. Just got back from a little vacation, so I'm like,
I
mellow.
feel like you always on some sort of trip,
That's my
somewhere,
life.
some weekend, some trip,
That's my
jet
life.
setting.
I didn't choose this life; it chose me.
Oh
Oh,
yes.
okay,
Let's hear for the
okay.
chosen,
Let's
the
hear for the
chosen
chosen.
one.
How are you, Shantae?
Oh, I feel good.
You look
It's been a
good.
good week. Yeah. Well,
I
it's been a
love that.
short week so far. It's only Tuesday, but it's been great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the episode was fun. It was a little short. Like we're still getting to know the ladies, so this should
Uh-huh.
be something quick and easy. There were a couple of things that we definitely are going to be able to talk about, but let's just get right on to it. I like that right off the bat we got a trip. We mentioned last week that because some of the episodes were edited because one of the cast members was asked to leave or quit, whichever version of the story you choose to go
Mhm.
with. The ladies have kind of already started creating a little bit of bond. So for me, right off the bat, we start the scene with Uba and Sai and Jessel, and I kind of like their dynamic already. They're the comedy relief. They're in there. They're kikiing. Uba's the first to arrive. They're getting ready to go to Erin's place in the Hamptons, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think, or some other place over there. I want to say it was the Hamptons.
No, it's happening.
Regardless,
It's happening.
okay. Sai shows up and she has the most luggage. She explains she has to pack so much because she's an influencer. She's got to have multiple looks for the content. Then Jessel arrives and she's got just as much shit that they're trying to pack into this little SUV. And I'm sitting there watching and I'm like, so the supermodel that shows up packed very light and
Mhm.
didn't bring a whole lot. But the two ladies with the worst sense of style on the show
Oh,
brought the most stuff to this trip. Sure, okay. Well, that's what we'll do. Why not?
wait.
While
So
they're
did
doing
you?
that, look, those ladies do not dress well for being
So
influencers
you
and in the
don't
fashion
think
industry.
Sai or well Jessel sure she does not for sure,
So
but
side dresses not six suitcases worth. Am I wrong?
no, I agree. But I guess because of her job, or I'll let you finish, then we can get into it. Go ahead. Go
So while
ahead.
they're doing that, Erin's prepping for their arrival. She's remodeled her home, and really the only thing that I saw on this, it's gorgeous. She's showing us the rooms, and I was like, Jennifer Aiden, please, like I hope you're watching so you can know what to do with the vacation home. At the bare minimum, buy some new sheets because that shore house that she got, we tore that thing up and down worse than the
We
weather did.
did.
It's a nasty piece of house. Um, so the ladies are talking in the car. We learned that Uba is kind of uncomfortable with staying in places on vacation. No shade to Erin, but when she's on vacation, she's on vacation. She's by herself. She wants peace and quiet. She wants to go to sleep. She doesn't want to have to worry what these other bitches are doing. And
Mhm.
frankly, I was like, yeah, I get it. Like Shantae, when you've gone on trips with people, like what do you wish sometimes that you're just like by yourself and not having to deal with anybody?
Oh yes. Preferably having my own room and own bathroom would be the situation. But if I'm a guest somewhere, I'm not gonna act like these ladies. I feel like Erin was a champ in handling all the little things that they were doing and saying, and especially Sai. The 11 pieces of luggage didn't bother me as much as the toilet paper because I'm like,
Yeah.
why do you assume that this successful woman who has a house in the Hamptons doesn't have nice toilet paper? Like, really? So the luggage, I guess it was a bit much, but like Cortez was saying, she's an influencer and she was probably hiding those looks for her content because I actually did subscribe to Scout the City. That is Sai's vlog, and she is very stylish on there. And she does have a lot of followers, and maybe she wasn't showing the clothes because she wants to post them, later, probably maybe in the summer when most people go to the Hamptons. But this was like fall or winter. Some of them were saying fall. Some of them saying it was winter. Uba was dressed like it was the dead winter with like 50-11 coats.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I just feel like maybe Sai's waiting, to phase out whatever pictures and outfits she took, because it didn't look like she had 50-11 pieces of luggage on scene. That's my opinion. What do you guys think?
I mean, I agree with it. It was, I get it. Like, Uba was straight up, hey, I want to be by myself. And as we've seen, Cortez, we have covered numerous girls' trips, and it's the same thing every single time a trip happens. A fight ends up getting broken. Somebody's unhappy with their roommate. Somebody's mad about the bathroom. So if I was Uba, I'd straight up say, yeah, no, I'm not going to be staying here. I want to go somewhere else right off the bat before I see the spot.
No, she can stay her ass at home. Because, like, I get it. Maybe it's the character she wants to portray and give all that. I get that. But this is Housewives. And, I mean, yes, sometimes women make their own accommodations. But coming out the bat, first of all, we don't really know you, Uba. We don't really know any of you girls. So it's probably more interesting if y'all stay together. I guarantee you, if she was by herself and we had to see her be filmed by herself, I would be asleep. Because she's not that interesting by herself.
That's a good point. Like you're trying to build recognition to your audience. Like it's imperative that we see all of y'all together so we can buy into y'all.
We all know as longtime Housewife viewers that the trips is where it goes down. Like group scenes and trips. So if you remove yourself from that, you're more likely going to be removing yourself from something that's probably gonna give you your check next season. I'm just saying. Yeah. So
we've seen that quite a bit. We saw that with when what's her name? That friend didn't end up coming on the trip for Beverly Hills. Yeah. Oh my God. Will Smith's ex-wife. Help me.
Oh, Sheree.
She filmed so much, but missed a couple of the events, and as a result, we weren't left with much of anything, and it's happened over and over again. So I agree. Mm-hmm. So moving on, they're back in the car again. Cheesegate kind of gets brought up, and apparently it was Uba is the one that doesn't eat cheese, and they're all trying to figure out how Sai got blamed for it. But they had a good laugh about that. Speaking of food, they call Erin, are asking, "Yo, we're hungry. What are we going to eat when we get there?" And Erin informs them that she is serving caviar. Now, I agree with the ladies on this. If you are inviting me to your home, I'm going to need something more than fish eggs on chips. Like, that's not going to cut it. We're not doing that. And Uba straight up tells her, it's like, how far are you from provisions? Because I'm going to need to go get a sandwich. I'm on her side. Like, caviar does not sound appealing to me. I've had it one time, never again. I'm good. We flash back to Erin, and Erin is just, like, putting out this spread where she's appalled that they wouldn't want it. And all we see are just, like, some carrots and like 3 chips with some caviar, and I'm like, yeah, I'm siding with Uba on this. Like, I'm not. No.
Oh, when you saw those chips, though, do you know what came to my mind immediately?
What?
Do you remember during the pandemic when Wendy Williams was making those struggle episodes in her house and was making like egg salad? She would also have her caviar on Dorito chips. So I felt like that shelf was copying off of Wendy Williams because she's the first one I saw eating caviar off of chips. So shout out to Wendy.
Yes. I think Erin is probably, she's trying to make the best impression for these girls. Mm-hmm. And it didn't work in her favor because realistically they just wanted to eat. Yeah. I get it. She was burned from the previous thing. She's like, well, I'm not going to serve cheese. I'll make sure I try to serve caviar, because caviar, hell, if it was Beverly Hills, they would have been like, oh my God.
Oh, absolutely.
Caviar. They would have eaten it up. Like, they would have been tearing all this shit.
Maybe this is Brooklyn.
Right, but it's Brooklyn, it's New York, and unfortunately, although they're very bougie-esque, they really are kind of simple. Uba just wanted a sandwich, and and I don't think any of them really wanted caviar. So
nobody.
Even
Jenna tried to fake that.
Even Jenna was just like, I guess she was being nice. So yeah.
So the first one to arrive. I agree with you, Cortez. I think Erin was trying to put on a good impression. I want to root for her so bad, but you can tell that she is so passive aggressive whenever things don't go her way. Like this entire episode, she was literally bubbling right under a nervous breakdown. Like it was just one disappointment after another for her, and I felt so bad. But also, it's great TV to watch because when she blows, it's going to be so entertaining. Jenna is the first to arrive, and surprisingly, Jenna is a little nervous. She's not sure what to expect. She confides that she's never really attended sleepovers growing up, and so she really has no idea what to do. She's like, "We're going to talk. I hope I fit in. I'm a little bit nervous." She mentions that she had a Hampton house as well, and they flashed to her house, and of course, it's gorgeous as expected. And so the two of them kind of sit and talk, and I'm liking Jenna and Erin's friendship. It seems kind of organic. I think they kind of run in the same social circles and have done so for a while. But it's interesting to see Jenna, who is this big power player in the fashion industry and the New York social scene, kind of be awkward around random women who don't have the notoriety that she does. But that's just something I caught. Cortez, what did you think?
I think, like I said, it was like Erin kind of basically said, like, you know, I got that Jenna was like the addition to the group. You know, I think you talked about it earlier. She was kind of like the celebrity pool, maybe because you know, even when this was being filmed, we kept hearing about Jenna Lyons. I didn't know who she was, but I knew that she was somebody. You know, based off of her name being, you know, used a lot while they were filming, and so I think it's good to see, you know, how she meshes, because what it kind of looks like is if they made like a last minute casting call and they added her, because these girls, I don't really know their relationship, but they seem like they have a connection already. Like they seem like they know enough. They've at least had drinks together, hung out. But Jenna is like I don't want to say oddball, but she's the new girl in town in this group. But she's also new to being a girl in terms of like how she interacts and the things she does. She seems like she's been like cramped up in Gap. Was it Gap? Was it what was it? What was
J.
it?
Crew.
J. Crew. Yeah.
J. Crew all her life. It don't sound like she really has much of a social life or ever really had one. So I think this is like a whole experience for her, being on Housewives and being with this group.
Oh,
I
yeah.
agree.
And she came in stunting on those girls though. Did you see that vintage Mercedes that she rolled up in? It was giving like
Jenna
a Barbie
so
Corvette.
understated.
Like, yes.
Yeah.
She wasn't just let you know, I'm not going to be the loudest in the room, but you're going to know that I'm the richest in the room.
Oh yeah, she definitely is.
All right, so Jessel and Uba and Sai are continuing their way. They start talking a little bit more, and we come to find out that Jessel, and her husband have not had sex in almost 2 years, which shocking to the ladies and a little bit to me, because Jessel is not an ugly woman. Jessel is absolutely beautiful. And her husband's not a bad looking guy either. And I think we commented last week that, you know, there were some comments saying that she hates her husband. And on Twitter, they're even saying theirs is going to be the first relationship to go. I didn't necessarily buy into it, but then hearing that they haven't been intimate since the birth of their kids, I was a little like, oh, because most husbands cannot wait to jump right back into the swing of things, right? Yeah. But then as she's talking, I actually really appreciated this because she was being a little transparent that she was insecure about her body, insecure about the scar from having the C-section. She doesn't feel quite like herself. You know, I am not a person who is able to give birth, but I can appreciate when these stories are told how viewers can possibly look at that and say like, oh, I can relate to that. I felt that way. So Sai and Uba, instead of like being receptive or empathetic, they're like, oh no, you just need to jump on his dick and let's go get you some lingerie. And they're really, really pushing that. And I'm like, okay, way just to bypass the conversation. But yeah, everybody finally gets there. The room assignments are on. Jenna, once again, is kind of saying she's awkward. Erin is trying not to seethe with seeing that Sai brought the toilet paper. She's trying not to have a breakdown with all of the the luggage that everybody bought. So the room assignments go. Everybody is kind of happy. Like, Uba loves her room. Jessel is complaining about the size, but says she likes it. Sai said the room is gorgeous. It's cool. And the whole time that this is going on, Erin's kind of playing bellhop, or excuse me, Jenna's playing bellhop and getting like everybody's back. And I thought the scene was hilarious because as the ladies are arguing or talking about the rooms, it's just like a constant stream of Jenna Lyons lugging somebody else's luggage up the stairs and leaving it. And she kind of said, she was like, I'm a little awkward around groups. I've never been a girl's girl, like you mentioned, Cortez. Yeah. So this is going to be interesting. I don't really know how to interact. And it was a very clear divide with the 5 other ladies and then Jenna being awkward, which I can completely understand. So as they sit down and everybody starts talking, we get a little bit more insight into Jenna. She's talking about the relationship with her mother. Apparently her mother had just passed recently. I think she said, what was it? 6 weeks prior to that.
Yeah.
And so she gives a little insight that, she didn't have a great relationship with her mother, mostly because her mother was on the spectrum. Her mother had Asperger's, and that made it difficult for her mother to create emotional bonds with people. And growing up, Jenna did not have a warm, inviting, traditional environment due to her mother's inability to create those bonds just naturally. And so once I saw this scene, I was like, that makes a lot of sense about how she interacts with other people. She's not the first one to jump in and try to be like buddy and get to know everybody. So that made a whole lot of sense to me. What were your thoughts hearing that she was filming the show so close to the death of her mother and then seeing what that relationship was like?
You can go, Shante. Yeah.
It just made me think of just the importance of attachment, and the attachment style that Jenna has is definitely given like avoidant or like ambivalent, because she does connect with the girls, but even Erin was saying that sometimes she's cold, and just the fact that she said she doesn't really have experiences having these sleepovers and these, things with women unless they're doing something else other than sleeping, So I really think that it comes through the bond issue that she had with her mom, and that's totally neither of their fault because, like you said, the mother was on the attachment. She was not diagnosed, and I think that's important for us to think about when we see policies like universal pre-K and everybody's trying to push getting kids into schools earlier, because it does help when you can catch these things earlier on and you have more supports, So it's a very important story. And I think it's very interesting that even Erin could see how that background with her mom related to how she is kind of hot and cold with the girls,
Absolutely. Cortez?
Yeah.
So I don't really, hearing the story, for one, I do agree. I'm curious to see will we hear more about, her mother and just that relationship. She said it, it wasn't, and I'm just curious because, we all have our relationships with our parents, but like how that was being who she is, because she, and it seems like, because she said she never had a relationship with her, right? They never, right?
She said they just, given her mother's being on the spectrum and having Asperger's, it was difficult to form any kind of emotional attachment.
But if I feel like she kind of hinted that it got worse when she kind of started dating women.
Her mother wasn't.
So I remember her saying that, and so I'm curious to see if she never really had one, what it's worse like. What is, because to me that's worse not to have one at all. But it's like what changed. And as far as Jessel, because this is the same conversation, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate her honesty. She talked about some more stuff later, which I really felt like I felt her on. When she talked about her family, I guess we'll get to that. But as far as her not having sex with her man and stuff like that, that is interesting. But I will say, in this moment, I was honestly like Sai and Uba, like, girl, go hop on that meat, go put it in your mouth. Like, I was like that. But later on, when she kind of talks more about the family and about the relationship between her and her husband, how it started and how they were, it kind of made sense. However, that is a long time to not be having sex with your, not only boyfriend, not even your side piece, your husband. That's a long time.
Let's not talk about the husband.
Heading for divorce. But I just, based off of what I've seen in the previews, that seems to be her struggle in this season, is her marriage. And I think Sai is somebody that gets not involved, but it looks like she may kind of confront the man, like, what are you doing? You know, I don't know. It just seems a little, I hate that for her because she seems like a sweet girl. And there already are some signs of insecurities, you know, about her body and stuff like that. I think it probably goes deeper than the scar. But I really hope that she doesn't just fall into this character that we just feel so sorry for, and takes away from the what is it called, the funness of the show. Because I mean, it's a serious story, but we want to keep that. And I hate to see, you know, housewives and characters that are so, like, their story is just so sad. It's like you can't even enjoy the next scene, you know?
Yeah.
Can we talk about the husband? Are we doing this? Are we doing it now?
We can. Okay. We can. No, it's, you know, it's, I agree. And we'll get into that. That's actually coming up here. It's this balance of trying to really get to know the people on an unsuperficial level, but you can clearly see when they're trying to mask, like, oh, I don't want to go there. I don't want to share too much. I don't want to be that person. I just want to have fun. And it eventually will come out. No matter who you are, your stuff will always come out, for good or for bad. And so I really do enjoy Jessel's energy. I think that she's fun. She's young, successful, beautiful young woman. I love her Indian background. I love that she's bringing that culture and stuff to a franchise. I love the relationship that they're letting the show with her mother, but it does give very much. She's keeping it very close to the vest, because she at first it was just like, oh, my husband and I haven't had sex because I'm busy and we're tired. And then as the episode went on, we find that it was so much more that was underneath that. Yeah. So, okay, so let's move on. Uba is tired of eating caviar. She wants to get the hell out of there and she wants to leave. She wants to get food. She's very honest. She's like, I'm going to go to Publix or wherever she said, provisions, buy. And Erin is seething. Like, I'm sitting here watching Erin's face, and you could just see on her face that she was just like, sure, can't wait to have you back. Like, I love this. I hope that they continue to fuck with her, because the passive aggressive undertones that she has is just so entertaining for me. So as Cortez says, we go back to talking about Jessel, and the ladies are still talking about, like, hey, you need to have sex. We need to do something sexy for you. We need to bring up lingerie. That's when Jenna says, oh, I actually have some gifts for you guys. And this is what kind of starts the big drama that we're going to see plays out for the rest of the episode and next episode. So Jenna Lyons, in the grand scheme of things, probably isn't the best person that you want to bring lingerie. She's never been to a girl's night. J. Crew is not like
women. She
does like women, but J. Crew isn't known for having like overly sexual, like boudoir clothing. So she tried. God bless her. You know, we talked about this in the group chat, and I thought that she was more so trying to be respectful and just like, here's a nice little gift. It's a pajama party or something. I don't think she meant it as like sexy lingerie, but she gave it to them, and immediately Sai starts complaining, or excuse me, Jessel starts complaining about the color. Oh, this is nice. It's not my style.
Uba complained too.
That was a difference, though. That was a difference with how Uba did it.
So everybody was like, cool, this is so cute. Before they go to dinner, Jenna kind of says that, like, hey, you're not going to be seeing me in my lingerie. I have a genetic disorder, hyperpigmentation, and apparently the only spot that is not affected by this is my exquisite breastial area, which she takes every opportunity to showcase. And I'm for it. Like, do it. If that's what makes you confident, I love that for you. Before we end the scene, Uba calls and says that the store is closed. She cannot get a sandwich. She goes back and has to eat that damn caviar. So we kind of see the ladies preparing for. Oh, before we transition, really, Shantae, was the lingerie like that green lingerie that Jessel got? Was it that bad?
No. First of all, Jessel just needed a bra. She got to put a bra on, and she would have been able to rock it. But she came down her shoulders out.
She came out looking like Fiona.
She was not trying to work it. Uba, saw she worked it. You know, she hiked it up a little bit with hers. Jessel did not even try to make it work. You know, I feel like if she put a bra on, if she even put maybe a little safety pin, cinch the waist in the meantime, she could have rocked it. I've worn oversized clothes before.
They do that
Models do it all the time. Yeah, when the clothes don't fit right, they get a little,
Here's my concern.
Not my concern. Here's my concern.
I didn't think it didn't look flattering. I think because what they had already said, they said, oh my God, you're not having sex with your husband. We have lingerie. I don't think her husband's gonna see her in that and want to have sex with her any more than he already don't want to, if that's the case. Because it was not.
She complained about her body 5 minutes before being
it was not
flattering.
It was not flattering. Yes, she could assist it, but it's just like you would think that, and I'm sorry, Jenna would go back in the bag and be like, you know what? She may need this, not this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what it basically did was it was like, you know how if you go up, so a person that's like already kind of subconscious of their size, you get into extra large. It's like,
yeah. But also, this just kind of showed Jenna doesn't really know the ladies. What she said was when she gave size, she goes, "Oh, the person who got these for me knows you, so you'll like that." And it was very much Sai's personality. I think she was just like, "What would I wear?" Gathered up for the ladies. So God bless her. She tried. It's the thought that counts. Like, it's Jenna fucking Lyons. What are you gonna like not accept a gift from Jenna Lyons? Like, shut up and take it. So they all get to dinner. They're getting prepped for dinner. And I always enjoy watching the ladies get ready on these little cast trips because you really see who has like stylists and who has like their own personal sense of style. Like for me, I thought Jenna and Erin looked the best. Like Jenna was very much like J. Crew. Erin looked like an Upper West Side like little princess. Jessel was trying entirely too hard. And Jenna said, baby, you cannot have Alexander Wang on your back and Balenciaga on your bag. Take that off. It's tacky. And I think that's also what pissed Jessel off because she embarrassed that girl on national TV, which she should.
I mean, she's in the fashion industry. I don't. Some of the it's kind of confusing. I'm like, what? It's confusing.
Yeah, because of the choices.
Yes.
Uba, super cute in her little sweater and her little pink pants, but of course, like she can wear a potato sack, and I'd be like, yeah, why not, Uba? Let's do it. And then Sai. Oh my God. Out of those 6 bags, Sai pulled a white sweater and a gray trench coat and then put her hair back in a pone. The influencer.
And this is when I said, okay, these bags are just full of paper. Because they're not full of clothes. Because I'm thinking, I just knew Sai was going to come out with something that was like, okay, something. Baby, wow. she looked just like J. Crew as well.
and bad J. Crew. Because it wasn't, I'm like, this is, what is the temperature there? Like you said, Shantae, like how cold is it there? Like they're buttoned up, trench coats. Uba had 4 jackets. Like it's New York in like November or October, right? Like this is when they were filming. How cold? There's no snow anywhere. How cold is it?
It probably was cold though, because it was cold. I'm sure it was very
and
cold.
It's colder near the water too. Like the peak season for the Hamptons is earlier in the summer. So that's why a lot of the ladies were commenting like, well, I've never been in the fall or the winter, So they were there probably when it was colder, and I'm sure at night it was even colder. But
yeah, that makes sense.
What got me with the restaurant scene was Uba and that can. I was so mad at her. But
listen, so they get to the restaurant, right? And so not really a whole lot is happening. We kind of rehash the same stuff. The bitches are wearing Erin out with the what they want, what the food, what they want to drink. They're gonna go back for breakfast tomorrow. They don't want to eat this. Like her entire trip is just going up in flames. One of the things that stuck out to me for being an influencer, Sai is really, really fucking annoying. Like taking random pictures, and it really is like you are taking the people that you are with out of the moment that they have, right? So again, we start talking about Jessel, and the lack of sex. Right. Everybody's like really, really shocked that she hasn't had sex. And so then I think to deflect, she asks Jenna, how did you know that you were no longer interested in guys? What was that for you? And so we learned a little bit more about Jenna. She starts talking about coming out at 40 years old. It was actually her best friend in a conversation she had with her best friend that kind of made her realize that there was this attraction to women. And then like the big thing was she was pretty much outed by the Washington Post at her job 3 weeks into realizing that she wanted to date some women. So this story I thought was really, really interesting, and seeing her see it for somebody who has such a difficulty connecting with people, who does seem to come off as cold sometimes. She has been the most open and transparent and willing to divulge some information about herself out of any of the cast other than Jessel at this point. So I thought that was sad. Erin said, it's sad people can't be themselves, for so long. And she mentioned she didn't even know that she wasn't being herself. They take a little bit of issue with her not wanting to share who she was dating. I think it was Sai that said, hey, we're all bringing out our husbands, bringing out who we're with, and you should be able to also bring out who you are. And she kind of mentions that her life is public. She's chosen that kind of lifestyle for her, and she wants to respect her partner's wishes for not wanting to be on camera. So for me, Cortez, you and I, we've talked about over the years housewives who don't want to bring their men on camera, housewives who fake relationships for the camera. When you saw that, what were your thoughts about a housewife on this franchise saying, no, y'all are not going to meet the person I'm dating?
It kind of further, confirmed my concern with her. And that is that, like, I enjoy her thus far. I know it's on episode 2, but I worry, will she be able to fully take on the role as a housewife? And that's like in terms of engaging. Shout out to Meredith. And just even with this moment, like with the career she has, with everything she has going on, will she be able to get down and dirty? She ain't got to be making up lies and stuff like that. But if she's herself and she is confronted, like, is she gonna walk off from every scene? Like, I hope, that she does. But hearing that, and I'm pretty sure it's very possible that the person she is with doesn't want to be on camera. Hell, Juan Dixon don't want to be on camera, but does he really have a choice? He doesn't. I'm just saying.
But the thing is, Miss Jenna Lyons doesn't need her partner to be on camera to collect the check.
Correct.
Jenna Lyons is doing
at
very well.
Some point, if she stays around for seasons, we're gonna want to see who you land around with, lady. We got to see something. It got to be some depth to you, and you're a housewife. And with that being said, we need to see, just like they do on these other shows, Atlanta, any other show, like they make you date. So we got to see something.
Yeah.
They got Marlo out here dating. Come on now.
That's so contrived.
That's so confused.
Y'all tune into that show. I'm sure they discussed that. Shantae, what were your thoughts on that?
Yes, Jenna is very guarded. And I think because of the way she was outed and the way that, her choice to share was taken from her, now she's kind of retrenching and taking back her power over her own narrative. And it is strange that she joined Housewives, given that she wants to be so private. But at the same time, we don't need to be up in everybody's bedroom. Like, if it's not serious, I don't think people should share, especially if it's if it's something that the other person also doesn't want shared. And it's different if it's a marriage. I think your spouse should definitely be on the show, but they're dating, so I think a lot of people do protect their relationship when it's still young and fresh.
Yeah.
Because that's like one of the fastest ways to break up is have people pick apart your relationship on TV.
Just look at Twitter.
So I'm not mad at
Twitter.
it. Yeah.
In that case,
you make a really good point.
If you put it like that,
the point of having your choice taken away from you. That's good job. You ate that.
If they get serious, we need to see this woman. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and also it to the point of who Jenna Lyons is. Jenna Lyons has navigated the New York social scene and the paparazzi. Somebody in the comments says, I think it was Sass K, when she got outed, it was a huge story in New York. So I can only imagine being the head of a huge fashion company, having every step of your private life out there, the step of your divorce and who you're dating. You obviously have gotten very astute at navigating public relations and, being able to only show what you want shown in curating an image, right? I hope that as time goes on, she gets a little more comfortable. with being able to show. I think that, and seeing her in some of the press runs that they've been doing, she definitely opens up. She's funny. She's engaging with her team. So I hope that maybe this is just like her trying to figure out what's going on right off the bat. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up. So the last bit, we kind of get to a little bit more of what Jessel and the issues with sex with her best friend / husband is. Apparently, they knew each other from college. They ended up being roommates because they were best friends. She was adamant that there was never any sexual attraction, never any sexual chemistry, and it wasn't until her mom came to visit and said that man is in love with you that they ended up getting married. But then I don't know how it went from that conversation and now they're married. But cool. The only thing I could think of with this doesn't sound like a fairy tale like romance. It doesn't sound like you wanted to turn your best friend into your husband, right? She even said, she was like, he was such a nerd, with dating women. I had to whip him into shape and I had to work. I was like, this sounds like a project and you just wanted a husband. But as she continues going, then she gets into the meat and bones of what the issue is. Apparently, they struggled with infertility for 7 years before they were able to get pregnant. She was very open about, she took 5 cycles of IVF. I don't know what that's like, but I've heard stories from other people who have just done like 1 cycle, and apparently it is brutal on the woman's body. So for her to go through 5 cycles, she even shared that at one point, sex felt like a chore. I'm ovulating. It's time. We have to do this if we're going to make this window. So having her spread light on that made a little more sense why now sex doesn't exactly seem like the most exciting thing to do. When you've tried for years to have a child and it becomes a necessity, I don't know how you can now make that a romantic thing or bring back the spark into that. So I thought that was interesting. It didn't sound like she wanted to share that. It sounded like she eventually got there because the ladies just prodded her. So before we end that, Cortez, what did you think when you mentioned it earlier? That shed a little more light for you as well.
It made sense. I will say, like I think Sammy just said, that it was some kind of arranged marriage. I mean, that's a common thing in the Indian culture. And so I think that took place over there some kind of way. But it seems like their relationship kind of reverted back to what it was. Like they were roommates. There was no sexual energy. They were dating different people, but now they're married. And so now the one thing I did appreciate was when she did share about, the issues with having a child that she had and how she had to basically hold all of that from her family. So I can't imagine, going through that process when really, and only the only person that you was able to share this process and journey and struggles and everything they went through with was her husband, right? And so I feel like that may be a reason why. I don't know. I'm not saying that's a valid reason, but I do feel like there is some trauma that he may be experiencing from whatever she went through because only they know, right? I guess mom knows now, right? Because she watched the show. But yeah, it made a lot of sense. It shed a lot of light to her story. So I applaud her on, making to this point. But I do hope that she, if she values her marriage, which I think somebody said earlier is fixable, she needs to visit that. Like I like she's being honest and she's giving us content for the show. We're talking about it, right? But please don't be like these other couples in marriages that just kind of you already see the sign and they just boom. They just at some point it's like they come on the show to get divorced. And her story, could lead that way. So I hope that she works on that rather than just saying, my husband has had sex for 2 years. Like that's not really
it was very flippant to begin with. It's like, well, that's not exactly how it's going.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So Shantae is the only parent on this panel. How did you react seeing this scene?
Oh, my heart went out to Jessel just when she talked about her journey having the twins. For me, it took 4 years before we had our first child, and it was a lot of pressure because anybody who gets married, the next thing that they ask you is, "Oh, when you're having kids? When you're having kids?" Right? So I heard that for 4 years. She heard that for 7 years. So I can only imagine what she went through, right? But when it comes to her marriage, it's definitely giving like he was friend zoned and maybe her biological clock was ticking, or there's pressure from the mother, and that's how he got out of the friend zone. Because I did not like how Jessel was talking about and treating her husband from since the first episode. Like when he came out and had the laptop and thought he was going to work, she's like, get out of here, and even when she was talking about how she fixed him, I was like, not a fixer-upper husband. Like, what are you saying? I would never want someone to refer to me as kind of like a project that they had to, fix and change. And she did kind of clean it up a little bit this episode when she said, well, he was a dork and he didn't know how to talk to women, so I gave him woman advice. So she kind of made it seem like, okay, she was more like a relationship coach to him. Yeah. But the first episode, she was talking kind of like he had all these faults, all these things wrong with him, and she fixed him. And I just don't like that. It definitely gives that he was in the friend zone, and either it was her mother or something made her pull him out of the friend zone, and now they're back in the friend zone again, right? I mean, have y'all ever put someone in the friend zone? Like, what
yeah,
are you seeing?
I've also been put in the friend zone and stuff.
All the time.
Those are, I mean, very good points. Cortez, you mentioned that it's in a relationship, if you aren't talking to your parents about certain things and you don't feel comfortable talking to friends, then the only person that you're using as your therapist is also your partner. So now your partner can also process the frustration and disappointment and the heartache that they're experiencing. So now it's just the two of you unloading on each other. And like, how do you, like, I'm a firm believer in that your partner should not be your 100% anything. Like, there needs to be compartmentalization. There needs to be therapy. There needs to be friends, because no person needs to shoulder the blame or the brunt of everything. But I'm single over here and she's married. So what the fuck do I know? So wrapping this up. We get to the scene. Uba wants to go congratulate the chef. After Jessel's heart-wrenching story, Uba's like, I have to pee. So she gets up and leaves, and she ends up going into the kitchen, telling the chef, congratulations. Sai's behind her, and so is Erin. And on their way back, Uba decides that she's going to hop into the pantry and steal a can of coconut milk because it's what she uses to cook her rice and beans. And everybody's laughing. It's whatever. She's dead serious. She's stealing that can. They get back to the table, and Erin is trying so hard to be cool about it. She's laughing. She's like, it's so crazy. And then she's like, no, but seriously, you need to put that back. Please go put that back. And it's just like spiraling. I like that Uba is the comedic relief. Somebody in the comments did mention we need her to be something more than just gorgeous and funny. Because it is, I think it was Chase last week that said it was giving friend of the show. And I didn't want to believe it because it was limited time that she had. But now seeing it, it's giving friend of the show, because the only time she's popping up is to say something crazy or outlandish, and then she like pops away. So they leave, they get back into the house, and this is where shit hits the fan. They're a little bit drunk. They decide, yep, we're gonna go ahead and put on this lingerie that we got, and we hear Uba going on and on. I look like an old lady. I look, disgusting. Who does she think I am? Look at this face. And in my mind, I'm like, you look fucking beautiful. Like, what you're wearing is what Calvin Klein put out for like 3 consecutive seasons back in the 90s. Like, Naomi Campbell wore this. Jessel is spiraling into oblivion about her outfit. It's a Christmas tree. The color's ugly. I look disgusting. She stomped down that staircase, hunched over, titties to her knees, just could not understand why they allowed this to happen to her on camera. She was so mortified. And then there's Sai, who judged it up with a little shirt, some little pants. She had some pearls on, and she made it work for her. I think Sai understood that this was not actual lingerie that was meant to be. It was against your cool. Here we go.
Exactly.
She made it the fuck work. Erin looked good from the navel up, but then panties were grannies. They made it work. They were laughing, but oh my God, Jessel just could not let it go. And we see that Jenna is trying to busy herself, acting like she's cutting up charcuterie. She's getting some more of the potato chips and the caviar. And you could just see on Jenna's face that she's like, she looks sad. She looks like, well, damn, like, I'm sorry. And even if she doesn't want to say it, Erin and Sai, both in their confessional, say this is fucked up. Like, I would have told Jessel to to shut the fuck up and give me back my gift. And so that's where we end the episode. So I know both of you probably have a lot of opinions on Kitchen Gate and Lingerie Gate. So you brought up Uba stealing the cans. So Miss Shantae, I'll let you have the thoughts on that right now.
Yes, that was not cute or funny to me. I think Uba knows that she's beautiful and she's gorgeous. So I think in a lot of ways, she was using her pretty privilege. You know, she was like, oh, let me go say hi to the chef, you know, basically trespassing because usually not supposed to go back there in the first place. So it was like a, what is it, double offense. She first trespassed and then she took them people's cans. And the fact that, you know, everybody stopped her, thank God, because I think she would have took it. If nobody else stopped her, she was going to take that thing. And that's not cool because we got to remember that, you know, these people are also role models to people. And like, if it was somebody else that took that can that was maybe, you know, undesirable or something like that, I feel like they would have probably gotten in trouble. It would have been a much bigger deal. But because it was gorgeous, because, you know, she laughed and all these things like that, she got away with it. But that just shows how desirability works. Like, there are a lot of people that get away with a lot of stuff. I think they call it the halo effect, you know? It's like, they can do no wrong, even when they're literally trespassing and stealing in front of your eyes. It's very strange. And I don't like that, you know. She was doing that when she didn't have to. It's like, you have a lot of money. Like, you don't have to be stealing no cans.
You can buy coconut milk.
Know? Yes.
Cortez?
I didn't really, the first thing I thought was this has to be some kind of like health violation. This woman in the kitchen, first of all, she's headed to the restroom, which means that she didn't wash her hands and she's in the kitchen. Or did they go? Did they go after the restroom? I can't remember.
I don't think they went to the restroom. I think
they were going to, but it was so close.
Jenna needed to go to the restroom.
Yeah, they were going.
Nasty. No. I get it. I get it's like a show, but it's just like, Uba, you don't have to do all that. To me, also, like, you're a black lady. Get out these folks' kitchen stealing. Okay, that's what they want us to do, lady. You may be with these other women, but you are black. Okay, get out the kitchen stealing coconut milk. Like, stop it. That's not cute. Let Ramona do that. Let people like her do that. Yes. So yeah,
it gave something that Sonia would do. Drunk Sonia would go into someone's kitchen, say thank you, and then steal a can of condensed milk.
But she wasn't even drunk. That's the thing. She was just being silly. And I do think that Uba is being very silly for the camera. But, you know, we don't need that every time. I do hope episode 3, we learn more about her, just a little bit more. I know it's, you know, I just want to know a little more because she is fun. But, okay, we got friends in the show for that.
The thing that got me before we transitioned into Jessel's breakdown was Sai said, give me the can. We're going to take this back to the pantry right now. And then turns to the lady and says, can you just go ahead and put this back in the pantry? Thank you. Like, girl, if you don't get your ass up.
And I will say this too. My other concern was that in this restaurant, imagine like when you're in somebody's Uber and that's their rating. You know, I think that she says she goes there a lot, right?
Yeah.
And this is televised. So it's just like,
if
I don't know, maybe it was staged, but if it wasn't staged and I watched somebody at my restaurant go in my kitchen and do this, I would be like, oh hell no, somebody getting fired. Getting fired. Like, no, it was not cute to me.
what that scene, out of everything else that has been to seem kind of organic, that scene felt most like, what can I do right now to kind of play up for the cameras? And I don't think it was needed because it was randomly out of nowhere. Like, I want to say hi to the chef or congratulate. Cool. Give my regards to the chef. You made a fantastic meal. Let me talk to a manager. Like, all that. Like, it just felt like a lot. And I hope Uba brings more. So then, Shantae, what do you think of Jessel's breakdown about this garment?
Oh, Jessel. Okay, Cortez had said, right, that Uba did the same thing, so we can't give Jessel too much, but there was a difference. And I'm going to tell you the difference between how Uba was acting and how Jessel was acting.
Uba was loud, too. Uba was mad.
Yes, Uba did her complaints upstairs. She was talking smack, right? But she still rocked it. She made it work, and she hugged Jenna and thanked her when she got downstairs. That is the big difference. That thank you, that little bit of gratitude. From what I'm seeing from Jessel, she's given a little bit of an ungrateful vibe. It's a pattern with her. First, like I said, first episode, I don't think she was appreciating her husband. And we confirmed this episode that she's not appreciating him in the bedroom or whatever that is going on in there. But also the mother, the way she was talking to her, like, did y'all clean? Did you clean? You know, Jenna showed more respect and love for her episode, for her mother in both episodes, right? Than Jessel ever did for her mom so far. And then you had her kind of complain about the room a little bit. She shaded. She's like, you know, everybody else got a mirror, everybody else got a big room. I got a kid's room. There's this pattern that's coming of her comparing with other people and then being ungrateful about it. She did not once thank Jenna. It was all complaints. She could have at least said thank you, because when you get a gift, you say thank you. It's like, come on. Yeah. It's just basic decency, basic courtesy. And then to just run down on it when you know that Jenna is into fashion and she's this fashion icon. And she literally said a line like, I don't know how anybody could think that this was sexy. That's like questioning Jenna's taste. So she was just going off so rude. I could not, like, I was like, Jessel, you in timeout. Like, I think she's gorgeous. I think she's good for the show. But she got to stop this. And I hope she looks at herself when, you know, the season wraps and she makes it right with her family, her mom, her husband. And hopefully she makes it right with her friends. But based on the previews, it looks like she's not. Getting why people even thought she was rude in the first place. But she's definitely needed to calm down. And at least Uba said thank you. That's my one thing that I wish Jessel would have done. At least say thank you. Come on.
CFC Riley said, let's not forget Jenna got their bags and stayed behind with Jessel when they all left and went to the restroom. Like, Jenna literally waited with her and said, okay, they're coming back. I have to leave now. So Jenna has, like, that's just Jenna's character. She's very motherly, probably because she didn't get that growing up. And Jessel was like, I still hate y'all fucking lingerie, bitch. Like, my God. Cortez, do you have any final thoughts before we get any callers?
So yeah, I don't think it wasn't ugly, but I wasn't flattering either. She doesn't have the most flattering. I don't want to talk about her body, but she does not really work out.
It wasn't flattering on her.
She hasn't had any work done. It's just a regular body, you know. And so with a regular body and a regular little gown, wherever it may have been from the 90s, wherever it was not just. It just looked like she looked like Fiona, like for real. It just was not cute. And I feel like if I was giving lingerie, I know that it was just a gift. But if we had this whole conversation about this young lady having issues with her body, and we basically, even though I brought the lingerie already, we said, oh my God, we brought lingerie. Let's help it spice you up. At least give this girl something to help spice it up. That ain't spicing nothing. She can do whatever she wants. It's gonna still look just like Jessel in a green bag. Period. So I just, is she snobby? Yeah, she is coming off that way. Great points about her husband and stuff like that. I think that she may be the problem, but overall, maybe she'll come back and apologize. Uba was very loud. Uba, I don't know what made Uba switch it around and apologize, because at first they were on the same wavelength of this is not cute, it does not fit right, blah blah blah. I don't know what switched Uba around, but she was given the same thing. But I'm glad that she turned it around. I'm sure at the reunion she will be asked about this, because she did have the same reaction. She just did not continue to go on and on about it.
I think somebody mentioned in there that Uba almost came off like she was joking, and Uba and Sai are definitely closer than Jessel and Uba. And I think Sai probably was like, girl, let's put this on pause. Let's not do this right here. But also, I think Uba genuinely likes Jenna. We have seen this episode and last episode. Uba genuinely enjoys Jenna. She likes
She likes Jenna.
She likes Jenna.
She does. She's made a lot of comments about it.
So I think that she may have been. She probably was like, "Girl, this is not me." But ultimately,
Yeah.
she was like, "It's not that big of a deal. I'm not gonna fuck this up."
Yeah.
Sai probably was like, "Let's not do this," and she probably could have been throwing shade at Jessel too, like trying to play it up to make Jessel see like how ridiculous she was acting. Because with how loud she was, I was like, "There's no possible way she could be this mad about a gold like little nightie. This thing looks fucking fantastic on her."
What if Jenna? What if it was a scheme that Jenna set up to come to Jessel?
Erin with the bullshit.
No, Jessel with this bullshit ass friend. I'm just saying, what if Jenna really is a villain?
To be honest, Brynn,
No.
by the lingerie, posted it on Instagram, said, "I don't eat cheese, and I don't like the lingerie."
Brynn, you know what? Somebody made a comment from Sierra Content about, I'm shocked how decent the episode was without Queen Brynn. Brynn is cool, but she gonna be giving just doing everything. I don't know. Like, she's still cool, but then I found out today that her and Sai fell out. They're not friends no more. There's an interview about that. I guess we'll later. So I hope Brynn just is. I don't want them to be just all be doing just everything, any and everything.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just kind of keep it cool. Just keep it cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Don't be all like uncool.
Right.
Cool.
Right. That's my only concern. Do you have anything else? We have a call in the queue, so before I get them on.
Cool. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's bring them in. Who is this caller?
Okay. For those that are first time watching, because this is where we do have our call-ins. I've been posting the link a lot. But shout out to those who've been watching. There's been right at 50 people watching today, and this is a new show for us. We got a new co-host, a new host up here, and I'm new to being at the bottom. So hey,
not what the streets say.
Oh, with that being said, the first caller is going
to
Riley. Hey Riley, how are you?
Hi guys. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I don't have like headphones or anything. I really like your show. I'm watching from South Africa.
Thank you.
It's like I usually don't call in and stuff. But I started watching you guys last week. I had no idea like the channel existed, but I'm so glad the algorithm put you on like my recommendations and stuff. So this is my first time watching, I guess, a Housewives from the beginning, because I've always started like in the middle. Like I started watching Potomac at 6. And Miami last season, and I think Atlanta at 7. So this is my first time. I guess it's not new, but it's new to me, and like the whole cast is different. So I'm guessing like I decided to give it a shot. And I enjoyed the episode. Didn't really miss Brynn. I thought I would miss her a lot more, but she wasn't like I guess next week the preview seems like she's gonna bring the drama, because I think I only watched it once, but I think she said something along the lines of, they were talking, like she was talking to Erin and saying something like, "Oh, you will let Jenna slide because she's Jenna," and not, which I mean, inferring that Erin is only being friends with Jenna because of who she is, I guess. Like I'm curious to see what that is going to lead to, or what the context for that is, because it seems interesting to me. Like, she just comes out the gate and already has a hot take now about their supposed, or their friendship, I guess. Because so far we've seen the friendship actually seems pretty genuine. But now when she said that, I'm like, what was the context behind this? Or what are you bringing? Is it a new Cheesegate where Erin said something to you and then, but it's something totally different when she's with other people? So I'm interested in that. And then final thoughts. I enjoyed the episode. I thought Jessel was being mean for no reason. It wasn't a flattering outfit, and I think the problem wasn't even like the size or anything. I just think it's the color. It's a weird color. If it was maybe like a midnight blue or something, I feel like it would have been nice, or just black. But anyway, I love you guys. So far, like the season's been good. So. And I'll keep on watching and maybe try calling again at some point. But thank you.
Definitely. Well, thank you. So
Thank
we're thankful that the algorithm.
What time is it in South Africa right now?
It is 3:30 in the morning. But I'm a student, so I've been studying. No, I've been studying all night because I'm a student. So, I was taking a break.
Taking a little bit of break for us. We appreciate that. And we're glad that you like it. Thank you so much for calling in tonight. And
yes, Riley.
Hope to see you in the chat more, and hope to see you calling in for more, because I'm with you. I feel like Brynn, she's been a little bit of a brat last episode, and this relationship with her and Erin is going to come to a head, and I'm excited to see where the group ends up. So I'm with you, Riley.
Okay.
Yes, and that insight about Jenna was good. Because I also question, remember in this episode, Erin was saying how she was raised to always come to people's house with a gift, right? But she would have preferred if Sai didn't bring the paper. But from last episode, she did not bring a gift to Jenna's house. So I was wondering why, like if she was raised that way. So I was wondering if they were close or not, if it was shade.
And
so
also, I think
Riley,
that Jenna,
we're thinking the same.
yeah, I think that Jenna actually brought her like olive oil or something. As a gift. They showed like a quick clip of that. She did bring her something, and I'm like, because I don't know, I feel like maybe she's too nice for them. I don't know. It seems that way. Like maybe she's overcompensating. I mean, we don't really know her like that, but so far it seems like she's very nice to everyone. And I'm actually low-key hoping she's the one that has like a meltdown and just goes off on them at some point in the season, because that would be hilarious. But anyway, thanks guys for letting me know.
Thank you
so much. You have a great night, Cortez. Do we have anybody else, or are we good to?
Yeah, we had 2 more, but somebody dropped, so we got 1 more at this point.
We'll do 1 more. This will be the last one, so we can wrap this up.
Okay.
What do we got?
What's going on, Ronnie?
Hey, Ronnie.
Hey. What's up, everybody?
Hey.
What's up?
I will tell you, I'm here in New York, Washington Heights, where it's nice and humid, and I'm loving the season. And I got to say, you are talking to the star of the Watch What Happens Live Sunday show, the virtual caller.
Sunday?
Yeah, I was giving it up. Go to Peacock Streaming. You'll see me ask Erin a question. And Candy, worldwide. Yes.
Well, you worldwide now, is what you're saying.
Baby, I'm worldwide. And if you don't know,
well, I mean, Chase was also the star on the What's Happened Live recently too. So is he worldwide too?
I mean, no, I love Chase. Chase, nobody gives it up like Chase. Chase is that guy for sure. So here's the thing. I gotta say, because once again, I was the star of Watch What Happens Live virtual caller on Sunday. Go to randomlyronniejr.com to see the footage. Yes,
Not
yes.
plugging.
We got you. Let's get to
it. No, but here's what I'm gonna say. What it did to me. And I think I always lived for more of a stoic, that native New Yorker. You know, I grew up in California, but I've spent about 7 years living in New York. I'm always taken to the stoic, that like, I'm just going to give you that energy. I'm going to have an opinion about everything New Yorker. So Erin, for right now, is really, really exciting to me. And I got to say, the concept of her being a frenemy with Brynn totally works, because they are 2 totally different personalities. And I think what's interesting about Brynn is, I think the shows were casting like six versions of her on other series. Like there was always an ensemble of these big caricatures, right? Like Brynn. And Brynn is great, but she works well with this group of women. I agree with what Jamie said earlier in the show. Jessel, while a lot of people want to say, oh, she's boring, I don't know. She's unique, and you need that to bounce off Erin's native New Yorkerness. You need that to bounce off of Brynn's, Brynn lives the full fantasy, and we live for it. But I think the ensemble, not bad. Like everyone has been saying, of course, I miss the older gals too. But I'm with it. I think the show is good. I think these are the arguments that we live for. You know, caviar on Pringles, like, give it to me. I'm into it.
I love all of it. Well, congratulations on being the star of Sunday's Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah, I can see this star.
Thank you, Ronnie. It's always good to hear from you. Always good to see you. You have a good night, and everybody go visit randomlyronniejr.com and check out his page. He's been a big supporter of the lean for as long as we've been doing this. He also has great content over there. I think Cortez bounces back and forth between as well. We love a good synergy over here at the lean.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for calling in, Ronnie.
Listen, I'm lean fam. All day, every day. And the only reason I'm not on camera is because all of you look too good tonight. And I didn't want anyone to read me and say, oh, look at this dusty, randomly Ronnie Jr. But they don't know that I'm working hard. And, yeah, so because you guys look cute, it really bugs me today. But you know what? It is what it is.
All right, Ronnie.
You a star, Ronnie.
All right, guys. Well, that is our time. Thank you to both of our callers that called in. Thank you for everybody that is in our chat. I see this is definitely a show that is going to gain some traction. You guys have a lot of opinions on what we got. Tez, Shantae, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. Thank you for your insight. If you haven't already, please remember to subscribe to our channel, like this video. If you enjoyed what we do, share this to your Twitter, share this to whoever you need. You think needs to see it. We would love to get more people in here to bash Jessel next week and the week after. But before we leave, do we have any party thoughts from either of you?
No. I'm ready to see what happens when Brynn comes next week, just to see, how things, because I thought it was an okay episode, no drama, but I was tuned in. I didn't fall asleep, so that's a good sign, right? Because I will fall asleep. So
if you don't do anything else,
when she comes, I'm sure it's going to be more energetic and probably some mess. She'll probably irritate the girls, but we need that. And I do hope that at some point Jessel, she kind of reels it back in before it gets to a whole she's rude. I kind of want to see her succeed and not be beat up on, even though she may deserve it.
A little bit.
But yeah.
All right, Miss Shantae, any party words before we bounce?
I just agree with Cortez. Yeah, I want them to all do better. Jessel, we love you, but please, be a little more thoughtful. Uba, stop taking things, and Brynn, come back. We miss you. So yeah.
All right, guys. Really quick to answer Chase, since he's so concerned. He's asked twice if there's another caller. There is not. The caller dropped off. Thank you for your concern here at the Lean. We will take your call next time if you choose to call in. All right, guys.
Good night.
Y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all next week.